Hi, this is Mr. E here, and our aim for this video is how do we solve rational equations with fractions. So up to this point, we've been simplifying fractions, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. But we haven't really looked at how do you deal with equations that have fractions, and that's what today's video is about. So as a warm-up, let's look at this fractional equation here. We got 1 over 4 plus x over 2 equals 1. So we want to identify a common denominator. And I can use 4 as a common denominator. So I have to multiply this by 2 over 2 to get the common denominator of 4, and I have to multiply this by 4 over 4. So we multiply each term to get common denominators now. So we get 1 over 4 plus 2x over 4 equals 4 over 4. Okay, now once you have that, you can just rewrite the equation only using the numerators and solve it. So here's what I mean, right? Just take these numerators and make it an equation. So you have 1 plus 2x equals 4, and just solve it. Minus 1, minus 1. We get 2x equals 3 divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 3 over 2. As a last step, you want to check. And I'm going to leave that as an exercise for the audience. Take 3 over 2, plug it into the original. So this was the original. And make sure that when you plug 3 over 2 in here, add 1/4 to it, you get 1. Alright, so solving rationals. You basically have two methods. Method 1, and by the way, this is from regentsprep.org, the information you see here. Method 1, where two fractional terms are equal to each other. So if you have something like a proportion, you're just going to cross multiply to solve for x. Okay? Method 2, if the equation is made up of 3 or more terms, like here, you got 3 or more terms, you want to create a common denominator similar to what we did in the warm-up. Alright, so let's try something a little more elaborate. Example 1, solve for all values of x. Alright, so look, to begin, you want to factor everything that can be factored. Factor everything that can be factored. So I can factor out x plus 8 and x plus 5 to factor this. Okay? Now look, I'm going to use this method here, method 2, because I have 3 or more terms. So what do I need to do then? Well, just go back, right? This is like the warm-up, except you have algebraic expressions in it. You need a common denominator, right? We got to create a common denominator. Create a common denominator. So what can I get as a common denominator? Well, this has an x plus 8 and an x plus 5. This already has an x plus 8. So why don't I multiply this fraction by x plus 5 over x plus 5 so I can get the same denominator as this. Now, what do I have to do to this one, the 1 over 1? Well, I have to multiply it by x plus 5 and x plus 8. So let's go ahead and do that. X plus 5 and x plus 8. That looks sloppy. Let me make some room. Give me a second here. Okay, that's much better now. So I have a common denominator of x plus 8 and times x plus 5. Okay, so now I have to multiply each term to get the common denominator. So here I'm going to get, so if I just multiply all this out, what am I going to get? So that's x plus 8 times x plus 5 times 1. So I'm going to leave it like that for now, right? I'm not going to FOIL it out yet. And then on the bottom, I have the common denominator of x plus 8 times x plus 5. So minus x plus 5 over x plus 8 times x plus 5. And I just get 3 over x plus 8 times x plus 5 there. So now I have common denominators. All right? All right, now, rewrite the equation only using the numerators and solve. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm just going to take these numerators, I'm going to copy them, and I'm just going to paste them here. So it's this minus that equals that. And I'm just going to solve that, and that's going to give me the value of x. So now I can FOIL this out. That's going to FOIL out to x squared plus 13x plus 40. Now here, you're distributing a negative 1, all right? So that's going to be minus x minus 5. And look, at any time you're subtracting a binomial, you got to distribute that negative 1. And so that's what I did. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the 3. Let's combine the like terms. We got a 13x that we need to combine with negative x. So that is 12x. Bring down the x squared, so we get x squared plus 12x. 40 take away 5 is what? 40 take away 5 is 35. Positive equals 3. So look, it says solve. This is a quadratic, so you got to follow the rules of solving a quadratic. Minus 3, minus 3. Got to set it equal to 0. That's why we went over how to solve quadratics yesterday. So you get x squared plus 12x plus 35 take away 3 is 32 equals 0. So you can use either one of the methods you're more comfortable with here. If you want to use the quadratic formula to solve this, you can. If you want to use factoring, you can. If you want to use the graphing calculator, you can. I'm just going to factor it out. So this easily factors out to what? So two numbers that multiply to 32 add up to 8, 8 and 4. So I get x plus 8, x plus 4. So x plus 8 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0. Do the additive inverse. So I get x equals negative 8. Subtract 4 on both sides here. I get x equals negative 4. So these are the two answers I get. Okay, now look. There's two answers because it's a quadratic equation, right? But you got to check. You must check. You must. I want to emphasize, you must check. Because since this is a rational equation or equation with fractions, it's possible that one of these solutions does not satisfy the original equation. And let's talk about why. In a fractional equation, the denominators cannot be undefined. That's division by zero. So let's go back to the original problem. This was the original right over here. And the values we got for x, what were they? We got x equals -8 and x equals -4. Now look, we cannot have an undefined denominator anywhere. So we have to check. So what happens when you check with the -8? Well, -8 plus 8 is 0, so you get 1 over 0 here. That's no good. Look, you can't have, the denominators cannot be undefined. You cannot have division by 0. So what happens with the -8? It must be rejected. Automatically gets rejected because when you plug it in, it gives you an undefined fraction. It gives you division by 0. Well, what about the -4? Should the -4 also be rejected? No, the -4 doesn't get rejected because -4 plus 8, that doesn't give you 0. That's fine. The 4 works there. And also when you plug it in here, you don't get 0 either. -4 squared is 16. And then that's going to be 16 plus 52 plus 40. You're not going to get 0. You get 92 in the denominator. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is -4. All right? Only solution. -8 has to be rejected. Okay, I really hope this video helps. Look forward to working on this with you tomorrow. Always check your solutions, all right? Always check your solutions. Why don't we just do a quick overview of what we did? So you definitely want to factor everything that can be factored. That's how you want to start. Factor everything that can be factored. You want to create a common denominator. Okay, then you want to multiply each term to get the common denominators. And then this was the result of when we multiplied. And notice, you know, I didn't FOIL this right away. I saved it for this step when I rewrite the equation only using the numerators. So this is what it looked like when I rewrote it only using the numerators. That's when I did the copy and paste the numerators. And then you just solve, all right? You just follow the steps of solving. If it's a quadratic equation, follow the steps of solving a quadratic. Or if it's a linear, follow the steps of solving a linear. And then you want to check. You want to make sure you don't get division by 0. All right, I hope this video helps. Take care.